The Bucktails, Skirmish at the Devil's Den. The 42nd Bucktail Regiment marched all night to arrive at Gettysburg at noon on the second day of the battle. Around 4 p.m., the Bucktails were rushed to the top of Little Round Top, where they repulsed a fierce rebel charge. They then drove the Confederates downhill across Plum Run. They probed the rebels sheltered in the Devil's Den after their colonel, Fred Taylor, was killed by sniper fire. This action is described by William P. Robertson and David Reimer in their novel, The Bucktails at the Devil's Den. Bucky had just reported to Hartshorn when the feisty major growled, "I see you stirred up those rebels pretty good, Culp. Being you're familiar with the terrain up there, I want you to guide Lieutenant Kratzner's company and make another attack. The enemy won't expect you again so soon." "Yes, sir." Sergeant Culp directed Kratzner's men up the ridge and through the thick forest to the doorstep of the Devil's Den. No one opposed them as they sneaked along. At the lieutenant's signal, the Bucktails dashed forward and got within a few feet of the enemy before the waiting rebels leaped up and poured a murderous fire into the Pennsylvania ranks. The Bucktail next to Bucky fell with a fatal head wound as another screaming bullet creased the sergeant's ear. The stinging wound so infuriated Culp that he tackled the nearest rebel and brutally bashed his head against the rocks until he quit moving. Kratzner, meanwhile, was engaged in a hot pistol duel with a lean Confederate officer who had a saber scar on his cheek. Both men fired twice at point-blank range before the Confederate collapsed with blood oozing from a neat bullet hole in his forehead. Kratzner's left arm, pierced through the elbow, hung uselessly at his side. Clutching his wound, the lieutenant screamed frantically for the men to retreat. Bucky shot a charging Reb square in the face. Then he bashed a second attacker in the throat with his rifle butt before fleeing. He had just re-entered the wood when a wild volley of musket fire echoed behind him. As leaves showered from the surrounding trees, Bucky lowered his head and sprinted down the hill. He dodged oaks, hurdled rocks, and didn't stop until he vaulted the stone wall sheltering his squad. For more information about the Bucktail novel series, visit bucktailsandbroomsticks.com.